Hello everybody, Canadagraphs here. This is part 3 of my top 50 spoilers video. This is the final part, the top 10. If you want to see parts 1 and 2, the links will be in the description down below. But for now, let's get into the top 10 list. Number 10. Arrow, Season 2, Episode 22, Deathstroke's Mirakuru Army, and the Dark Archer. This was a cool double spoiler from 2 different days. On one set, we saw John Barrowman dress up as the Dark Archer, filming inside the train station for scenes where he would come to the rescue of his daughter, Thea Queen. But the biggest spoiler to come from that, and the first major spoiler I ever shot that got traction on other sites, was Deathstroke having an army of Mirakuru soldiers marching together towards the city. Number 9. Once Upon a Time, Season 6, Episode 12, Prince Charming's dad and Captain Hook asking for Emma's hand in marriage. This was an incredible double spoiler day. The first spoiler I dropped was about Captain Hook asking Prince Charming for his daughter Emma's hand in marriage. Fans didn't want to believe it right away. I got a lot of skeptical replies to it at first. Then later that night I added to the additional spoiler of Prince Charming's dad coming in for a scene. Number 8. Arrow, Season 4, Episode 19, Laurel Lance dies. Kind of a funny one, since even though I broke it, I wasn't the only one to break it, but boy did I get almost all of the pushback for it from the haters. I was the one that dropped the episode title of Canary Cry though. Of course, weeks of doubters refusing to believe what I told them would follow. Conspiracy theories started forming that it was a fake funeral and that they filmed 2 to outsmart people, which of course we who were there knew wasn't the case. Funny enough, just days before this set, I had someone of note attached to the show talk to me about my spoilers and just outright acknowledge that they knew I would likely be there, and tried encouraging me not to work it. We had a reasonable conversation about it. I explained my point, they explained theirs. In the end, I still went. Number 7. Fringe, Season 4, Episode 4, Peter Bishop returns. In the early part of Season 4 of Fringe, the biggest question was, where is Peter Bishop? It even had developed a hashtag that trended multiple weeks when the show was on. But the answer for everyone was, he was going to return in Episode 4. When I got to the set that day, I did not know he was going to be there. After a couple of scenes with John Noble and Anna Torv being shot there, we saw Joshua Jackson show up. At first, some thought he might be there just for a birthday, as there was talk about someone having a birthday on the set. But when he came over to meet fans, I asked him outright when he was going to return, and he said, right now. Shortly after, we saw him come back out with motion capture tags on his clothes that are used in the filming process. It was official, Peter Bishop was back. Number 6. Arrow, Season 4, Episode 9, The Olicity Proposal. When I found this set, I wasn't entirely sure what I was seeing at the time, as I was standing more than a football field away from where the filming was taking place. But after 2 or 3 takes of it, I kinda realized it was a proposal scene. The scene was the distance of a football field away, but I knew it was going to be big, so I tried to get something out of it, and didn't do too bad, especially when you consider this was on one of my older model cameras. I stuck it out and found a good angle, good enough to give the fans of that pairing what they wanted at that time. While it was grainy, it was something. Number 5. The Flash, Season 3, Episode 1, Kid Flash. Going into Season 3, there was a lot of questions for this show. One I don't think anyone expected to see answered in the first location shoot was, the reveal of Keenan Lonsdale as Wally West was the Kid Flash, the hero of Central City. We also got to see the reveal of one of his nemesis by the name of the Rival, which in itself was getting a lot of attention from fans and fan sites at the time. We also got to see a scene of Grant Gustin as Barry Allen discovering Wally was Kid Flash. While a lot of fans expected Kid Flash to arrive eventually on the show, just seeing it in actual visual form really set the internet abuzz at the time. Number 4, The 100, Season 3, Episode 16, Clexa Scenes. I only ever made it to 2 sets of The 100. One was an indoor set that didn't have any cast I needed at the time, so I did not stay. It was so forgettable I can't even tell you what season it was in. But easily the most memorable set from the show was when they shot in Cole Harbour with Alicia Debnam Carey as Lexa and Eliza Taylor as Clark for the Season 3 finale. They shot over 2 days at a few locations in a 2 or 3 block area downtown Vancouver. But the scene which had the pair sitting on the stairs where it seemed that Clark was dying was one of the most watched videos I had at the time and has consistently been in the top 10 most viewed videos on my site each year. Unfortunately for the fans of The 100, this is going to be the last episode for Alicia, and the last set of The 100 I ever came across as well. Number 3, The Flash, Season 5, Episode 18. Godspeed episode title, Barry leaves Nora in the future. When I showed up to this set, I had no idea how big the spoiler would be I would see. I was more focused on covering the fact it was the first directing job of The Flash's star, Danielle Panabaker. When I saw scenes being shot between Jessica Parker Kennedy as Nora West Allen and Grant Gustin as Barry Allen, set in the future, that was already a huge enough spoiler that it would have made the top 50 list all on its own. But the internet breaking moment came earlier in the day when I found out the title for the episode, Godspeed. While I didn't get a photo of him myself that day, another person did, confirming what I had said earlier in the day to those still doubting it. Number 2, Legends of Tomorrow, Season 3, Episode 8. Crisis on Earth X, The Double Wedding. I was given the heads up from probably my most trusted longtime source. This was going to be happening in this scene. So I knew I had to make the effort to get out there even though the weather wasn't pleasant. It was cold and damp for the early part of the day. I spent large chunks of the day trying to warm up in a souvenir shop about 300 feet away till it got a bit warmer and drier out. After a different scene that was shot earlier in the day where the heroes leave after the funeral of Martin Stein, a spoiler in itself that made my list, the crew prepared the area for this big scene. The scene starts innocently enough with Grant Gustin as Barry Allen, zipping in David Ramsey as John Diggle to the location where Candice Patton as Iris West, Stephen Amell as Oliver Queen, and Emily Bett Rickards as Felicity Smoke were waiting. After Diggle's patented vomiting, the event begins, and you can see in one of my video clips the moment where we see Felicity interrupt West Allen's wedding to ask if Diggle will marry her and Oliver too. It was official after this set, Oliver Queen and Felicity Smoke, and Barry Allen and Iris West were officially married. And number 1, of course, The Flash, Season 6, Episode 9, Crisis on Infinite Earths. Lucifer Morningstar is in crisis, and also details about Supergirl and the Legends of Tomorrow episodes for the crossover. Of course, I think everyone knew this was going to be the top choice. Funny part is, this almost became a spoiler that I was going to keep to myself. When I found the set, it was by accident. I actually was out looking for a completely different set with a couple of people, and instead, we found this set after failing to track down the one we were searching for. As the night went on, we saw Tom Ellis dressed as Lucifer there, and I was okay with keeping it to myself. But one single crew member who tried blinding me, and even one of his own crew members, just to be an ass for no reason, ended up with this massive spoiler ending up out there. Funny enough, I had no photos of the scene, but I described in detail who was there and which show it was going to be on. What came next was a denial from Tom on a major entertainment show, as well as fan sites calling me a liar for weeks till the episode finally aired. Just to think, it could have never been if we had found the set we were looking for, or hadn't stumbled across this set instead, hadn't actually seen Tom on the set, and hadn't had one rude driver motivate me to post about it. Along with this massive spoiler, I also dropped a couple of smaller spoilers in the blog post I added this tweet to, which included John Jones would be interacting with the Legends cast in the Legends episode, that Batwoman would meet Harbinger in the opening episode, and that 1989 movie Batman cast member Robert Wuhl would be making a cameo as well. But of course, in the end, the big news from this blog was the Lucifer Morningstar reveal. And that is it for my top 50 spoilers videos. The full list will be in a link below. If you would like, you can look there to see a written out list, or you can watch the videos also linked in the description down below. Hope this has kept you entertained while we are in this long delay between filming seasons. Hopefully soon we'll be back to sharing more spoilers with you. Until then, thanks again, and here is a quick recap of that top 50.